a Castle Ravenloft. This is the capstone of the Ravenloft campaign. I'm healing in here, so my video might be a little full of spots where I stop talking because I'm trying to do something. Apparently can't talk and do it at the same time. But this is actually one of the more difficult dungeons in the game. You really cannot do this one without a group of a particular strength. I can't tell you exactly what that strength is because it depends on how good the players are, but you can probably tell whenever after the first boss whether or not your group's capable of actually doing it. And we're at the first boss. So, this boss has a few mechanics. It actually has a little mini game built into it, I guess you could call it. It's a little book that you pick up, and it gives you other types of powers and stuff like that you have to use. I'm gonna grab the book. The healer never grabs the book, but I'm gonna grab it at the end so you can see what it does. But when the fight starts, there are 3 enemies in here. You only fight them one at a time. One of them will turn into a actual, person, I guess, vampire. The other one's kind of stay in a little spirit form. So there's a couple of things to pay attention to in this fight. One of them is a status anomaly that stacks on you. It tends to only stack up on the tank, but if she's paying attention to you, you might get some stacks. As you see, this is the one we'll be attacking, and those are the other 2 that wait until one is dead. So here's the little stacks. You can see them right here. The theft by tank. So what these do is as they build up on you, when they reach 10, the boss will do an instant kill attack on you. So we'll see if A will block it or not. Let's see. He can be guarded by a tank. Everyone else just has to really kind of run away, so he didn't guard it. But as you see, it's an instant death attack. There's nothing you can heal about it, nothing. So that is the primary attack that she does that is worth concern. Here's the other attack that she does. See the red chains? Now this is that's just a damage, kind of always a damage reflect. So if she has that, the person who has the red chains will get all the damage done. However much damage is done to her gets reflected to the person with the chain. So unless it's the tank, it's really best to not attack her. Obviously, you got real red AoE circles. As you see, I got the red chains right now, and everybody stopped attacking. That's what you should do, even if it is the tank. And haste didn't block the 10 stacks again. Really got to pay attention to the 10 stacks. So it'll get you. So we're doing plenty of DPS. As you see, her health bar is dropping very rapidly. So, when she dies, a portal is going to open up. So if you're a tank, you want to try to drag her over to the middle once she starts getting low on health. Because the portal's going to pop up over there, and if you can't destroy the portal in time, everybody dies and got to reset. As you see, he's dragging them over here. Now, what I haven't talked about is the 2 sisters over here. So he didn't block the attack again, because he's silly. I don't know why he's not blocking. But when the two sisters get closer to the one that you're fighting, you'll see these red lines traveling between them. When that happens, the boss it can't be damaged. So here, we killed the boss. Here's the portal of power. Once you destroy it, everybody gets flung back, and you fight the next sister. So I'm going to grab the book on this one so you can see what the book looks like. So once you pick it up, you get a different set of powers. You can see them down here. And what you want to do is use those powers. This is the left-click mouse button, and it makes the spirit follow you. When the spirit follows you, obviously, it's not over there, making the boss invulnerable. Now, there's 3 different powers attached to the book. This is one of them. The other one kind of stuns it, which is your right-click power, which I can't seem to be able to do right now. So I don't know why. Actually, it's not a right-click power. It's the Q power. So you can stun the boss. Or you can stun the guy like that. And that's usually, if there's 2 of them, you have to kind of mess around and let one of them go, and then go grab the other one because it has run over there to fight the boss. But usually you want to grab the guy and drag him into this corner over here. And just kind of keep him away from the other people. Now, the healer never grabs the book ever. I just did it because I wanted you guys to see it, so you know about the mechanic. But when there's 2, it's a little more tricky, and you'll take a lot more damage also from these red circles. So every now and then the healer should dip over here and heal you. So if you're a healer, don't forget about this guy. Let's see. It's got 10 stacks. So if a DPS gets 10 stacks, the only thing he can do is run away. The stacks will wear off eventually if she stops paying attention to you. But if you stay up close to her and sit there and fight, the stacks are never going to go away, and she'll just turn around and hit you for the and take off and kill you, and then the stacks are gone. So that is basically these guys. There's an AoE attack, one with the common arrows around you, and it's bats. And when you get arrows around you, like always, you group shares the damage. And here's the last sister that you get to fight by yourself. This will be a pretty easy one. The only way somebody's going to die, I think, is with the stacks. If she even can put 10 stacks on somebody before you kill her. And that's pretty much it for the first boss. The doppelganger will come out and it grabs somebody, and that person can't really attack, but it's the best thing you can do as DPS is just kill the one that's standing still, not the one moving around. Hayes has been killed by it again for the 4th time. What are you doing, Hayes? This is getting recorded. As you see, she's running away because she has 10 stacks. That's the best you can do, is just flee and hope that she will. She got her. Usually it's too late once you get to 10 stacks. You really got to turn around and run off at about 8 stacks. And when you do that, then you're usually okay, because she won't chase you around. But once you get 10 stacks, she locks onto you and she just chases you everywhere. So everybody needs to pay attention to their stacks. These are mine. I got 4. And that's it. We get a little cutscene of somebody who was not protecting the Sword of Legend correctly. Gets the Sword of Legend stolen from them. I'm not going to say who it is that wasn't protecting the Sword of Legend, but I think it's pretty obvious who it was. So that's the first boss. We have plenty of DPS. This fight didn't take long at all. Only little mess ups were because of the stacks. So, believe it or not, these enemies up here are actually pretty powerful. So don't just run wild into them if you're DPS, or they will probably kill you. You only have to fight these first two groups. The rest of them you can just sneak past if you walk through the bushes over here. Like we're doing. And now we're inside the castle. So, a rare mob can spawn in here, and it just gives you a title, basically. And as you see, I ran ahead and got massacred. I didn't die because the tank showed up. But like I said, be careful when you run around in here because the enemies will kill the DPSs. Rogues can get away with it because they can stealth. So if you see rogues running ahead, it's so the special mob is actually the Night Terror that you will have seen running around in Barovia at nighttime. He doesn't always load. It's an uncommon event, but when it does happen, if you kill him, you get a title for it. This little catwalk right here, very similar to what you would see in Castle Nova. Once you fight the initial set of enemies, a group will run up behind you. So if you're in the back, you can, there they are, they're coming. If you're in the back, they will get you. The Executioners, this guy right here, his attack is a one-hit kill. As you see, got caught behind the group. But their attacks are a one-hit kill, and they use it on whoever has the arrow pointing down over their head. Also, you see these ghosts right here? If you talk to every ghost, you get an achievement. If you talk to everyone in the castle. Most people don't even attempt it, so because it's just an achievement. But if you do, talk to every ghost. I forgot what the achievement's called. I don't have it on this character, so I can't even look. But it exists. So the second boss also has some mechanics going for him. This boss is a DPS check, which we will pass easily. So he's actually that big stone statue right there. So you see these 4 columns in the ring. That's your timer. He will do an attack that will destroy a column, and you have to direct him into the column, and that is the only way to stop him from doing the attack, or he'll just kill the whole group. So as he destroys them, you're running out of time, basically. And once he destroys the 4th one, there's nothing to stop the attack, and it kills everybody. So as a tank, you want to keep your back to a column, and the DPS needs to stand behind him, but on the side he's not holding his sword on. So if he's holding his sword in his right hand, you want to stand on his back left shoulder. And that's because he will do a swing attack that will kill DPS and healers in one hit. So you see he's got his sword in his right hand, so when we attack him, we want to stand on this side of him. And that's because his attack hits like in a 270 degree swing. Now that attack right there, the big overhead swing, the tank cannot avoid that attack or he will go into a spin. You notice he switched hands on the sword. He does that through the fights. You got to pay attention, and when he does it, you just go over to the shoulder. So if the tank avoids that attack, he will instantly go into his attack that will destroy a column. And so if your tank is avoiding that attack, he's going to get everybody killed. Here's the attack that hits in the arc, and it will kill most DPS. That's the attack I was talking about, where you want to stand on his other shoulder. So, switched hands again. So it's not always going to kill your DPS, but it's pretty common. And he turns around and does a little stomp. Now he should do his little spin soon. That's not the big attack, but it sent Yuno flying way off over there. That was cool. There it is. So as you see, we're way ahead. We've almost got him 2/3 there. Here's his spin. And he gets drug into a column and it stuns him for a second. So that's the attack you have to avoid as a tank. You have to be prepared to drag him into a corner or to a column. And that is actually it for this fight. He won't do the attack that hits in the 270 degrees until he turns his sword with the red aura on it. Now this will beat up on a tank pretty bad. Hayes has a good tank, so he's not really getting hurt that much. And honestly, I've been distracted because I've been talking, so I may not have healed as much as I should have. So, but that's it. We're way ahead on the DPS curve. That was easy, and this dungeon's going to this is going to be a real easy run. I mean, Strahd can be difficult, no matter what. It is easiest with a paladin healer in this dungeon, which is why I chose to heal, because I'm kind of the only one that's really got a paladin healer in the guild for whatever reason. I'm not literally the only one, but so that's why I have a paladin healer. And you'll see why it's easiest with a paladin healer later on. But I mean, it's because of the shields, but you'll see why. So we're on our way to the final boss. The trip is much longer at this point than it is. These guys will come out and attack you. So just know that the guys over here are going to come out whether you go mess with them or not. And a couple of the executioners, which are standing on these platforms, are going to come out too. And like I said, if you have the arrow over your head, do not be near them, because they will kill you in one hit. Everybody else should kill the guy in the meantime. They're not very powerful. These guys are very kind to open the door. Alright, this room. You don't fight anything in this room. You just run to the end of it. Now you can stay and fight all these enemies. They usually will kill you, as they just did me. And when you get to the end, you can purge all the enemies by touching this altar. Now they are by no means unkillable. If your group is ready and you plan on fighting them, you'll beat them. But the easiest way, you just run straight through, go to the altar. Then we deal with the werewolves. Which is kind of strange, because I thought vampires and werewolves were supposed to not be friends. And they are in Barovia. There's another ghost over there. I think I've missed one so far, but just know that if you talk to all the ghosts, you will get an achievement. There's one on these stairwells. I don't know if it's on this particular stairwell, but you usually see him when you get closer to the top. So no, he's not on this one. So this room, the enemies are really standing up there on the bookshelves. They'll hop down as you get closer to it. Now there is little things in this room where you can actually get on top of the bookshelves. You can talk to the books, and it kind of makes a little, I don't know what to call it, kind of like the things in Omu that'll push you up in the air when you jump higher. You can jump on top of all the bookshelves. I just let her get killed because I was talking. Oops. But you see them right here, sparkly thing. You can jump up on top of the bookshelf. There's nothing up there. I've jumped on all of them. So this room right here will irritate people. If you have a shield, you can just block and walk through it. But sometimes it'll stun you for like 20, 30 seconds. I mean, see, I just got stunned. And it'll do it over and over and over again to you. So you can do your roll if you're a rogue, or dash, or however you want to try to avoid it. Nothing comes out to kill you, so it's not like you're going to die if you get hit by it. This is where you get the sword back. The one that you so carelessly misplaced earlier. I have asked the question why that didn't happen when she picked it up the first time, but we don't ask questions like that. The sword has its own set of mechanics. I will pick it up before the final boss to let you see what they are and discuss what their powers do. There's only a couple you really need to know about. The enemies in here are powerful. This is kind of like the test for the sword, so you can see what the sword does. See how much damage it does, and all it really does is get the person using it killed, because the enemies do a lot of damage and you grab aggro from everybody with the sword. So, you can see him using some of the powers. If you're a healer, you re-heal. You got to be on your toes in this particular room, because everybody can die, because the enemies are stronger because you have this weapon of legend. So as far as the sword goes, the only people that tend to not pick it up are the tank and the healer. Now we're not at the boss yet, so it doesn't matter right now. But once we get to the boss, which will be there in pretty soon. But once we get there, he'll end up putting the sword down, and a DPS will take it. And it doesn't really matter which DPS takes it. The important thing is that DPS not get hit a lot. Because in the final battle, you have to charge the sword up. And every time the DPS takes damage, the sword energy goes down. And here's the ghost that's on the stairwell. I think that's the last one, because the boss is in here. Alright. So, this boss got a lot of mechanics. He's probably as far as a dungeon boss is concerned, he's probably the second hardest one in the game. Alright, so the sword. Every time you pick it up, every time a different person picks it up, you gain a stack of this sunlight. That sunlight protects you from some of the enemies. It's got regular at-will powers, just like that. So it's at will. So the only one to note of is this one right here. Not that one. Let's see, is this one. When you use this one, it gives everybody in the group their daily powers. So if you happen to have the sword, you always want to use that every single time it's available. So back to these little stacks right here. These protect you from the servants of Strahd. What that means is during the fight, someone will get taken, and you'll be in a different place fighting by yourself. And what you do in that spot, hopefully I'll get taken, and you'll get to see it. But it's really bad when the healer gets taken, and you'll find out why once the fight starts. But those servants chase you around and try to do damage to you, and when they do, this reduces that damage that you take. So if you die up there, nobody can revive you until we finish the stage. And this is a repeat. I'll discuss the stages as we go through them. There he is, Strahd. So at the beginning of the fight, you can't really do anything to him. He's got to finish his conversation. The group should run over to one of these larger sides like this. See, there's more space in between the columns. And once he gets ready, pulls everybody in, and this will curse the sword. You'll lose the sword at this point. Everybody huddles in a corner. This is why the paladin is the ideal healer for this part. See these red balls? They explode and do a bunch of damage. And when they do, you have to... the paladin... Alright, here's the AoE. When you get the AoE, you come stand next to the candles. And the candles scare the bats off. Somebody got taken. I don't know who it was. When they get taken, they go to a place that looks similar to this, except they're in a different location. You have to kill all the enemies around them in these circles here, to free them. And when you're up there, it's best to just avoid the enemies. And I say that because there's an executioner that spawns up there, and the closer you are to them, the easier it is for you to get killed. So once you destroy them all, the sword becomes uncursed, and the person who's put up there comes down. And once Strahd finally comes back down, you can fight it. And he's a really fun fight for a tank. He pushes you back. It's got all kinds of nice little riposte attacks and just all kinds of cool stuff. He's a really fun fight. Now the reason you stand in these larger corners instead of the smaller ones is because when he does that attack he just did, where you get the red X's going across the screen, it doesn't hit these larger corners. It only hits the smaller ones. And you see the red balls are still appearing. That's why you got to stay close. Everybody needs to stay grouped, because the healer needs to keep everybody alive. And the paladin does it best here because he can make the shields. And then as you see, we're back to this stage where everybody's huddling in the corner. He's dropping the red balls again. And we're just waiting. I am almost out of divinity. I was not paying attention. I'll try with more attention than that. The curse of me talking. So somebody else got taken. Looks like it was again. No, it was 10 this time. So as you see, most important thing is these red balls. They do a lot of damage, and the healers and the groups tend to spread out right here to kill these guys faster. But just remember, once the phase is over, always go to one of the bigger sides. And whoever has been using the sword needs to go pick it up. Go get it. So, I'm not going to be able to pick up the sword to show you the meter, but there's a little meter that's filling up. That you will get to use at the end. And it'll tell you when you need to use it. So don't get too excited when the final part happens. And I was wrong. He hit a big corner that time. So looks like they can hit a big corner. Right now we're having a really easy time, and he's not dropping a lot of red balls in the group while we're fighting, but it's because we're doing enough DPS to chase him off and stuff. So he's about to curse the sword again. He does every time he does that, he curses the sword. You stand right here on one of these sides. I don't know if I mentioned, but we stand near the walls because the AoE that happens that he will put on you at this part. It can only be ended by the candles. The light chases the bats off. Hopefully they do not try to run across the middle. Ooh. It's not a good place to be. I don't know how Tenement keeps dying up there. She must not be running from the enemies. Gotta run from the enemies up there. You see, Yuno died, which is bad. Nobody has the sword right now. This may end very poorly, despite how easily we've taken care of everything. Where did Yuno go? Ah, she bled out. I can't believe that. Uh-oh. This isn't going to end like it needs to. Here, grab the sword. Nobody's got the sword. Grab the sword. I just dropped it. I tried to drop it and then immediately picked it back up. It's so crap. I'm about to die because I can't put the sword down. Yep, we lost this one. And that ended up happening because people were all spread out. And I don't know how Tenement kept dying up there in and she got taken because you don't have to fight anything, you just run away from the enemies. But those are the enemies that the status right here, the sunlight status, will help reduce the damage from. So I should say the person that takes the sword, a lot of people can do more DPS without the sword because the way they're at, willpower's hit and all kinds of other stuff. So Somebody hasn't picked it up. I don't know who it is. I thought everybody picked it up. Or is it just me that doesn't have 5 stacks? It's just me that doesn't have 5 stacks. Everybody's got it. I don't know why. So hopefully we don't have a little blunder this time like we did last time. So to restate the stages, you have the one where everything's dark and he's dropping the red bombs on you. That's the first stage. And then he takes somebody and you have to kill the people standing around the room. That's the second stage. And then the third stage, he comes down and you can actually fight him. I'm going to try to do a little bit better job of managing my mana or my divinity this time. Those red bombs will do about 200 to 250,000 damage to people. Oh, I got taken, you get to see it. So when you get taken, you just run away. Don't fight anything. Don't go by the door, just run off. I mean, I have a shield, so I could stand around and not take any damage at all. But you just stay alive until you get teleported back. That's it. That's how easy that part is. But it's bad if the healer gets taken because he's still dropping red bombs everywhere during that stage. So while you're up there, he's still dropping red bombs on everybody. If the healer's gone, then everybody's using potions. Here he goes, dropping the red bomb in the middle of us while we're fighting. Like I said, if you got a paladin healer, he keeps the shield up, and everything's fine. There he goes. Every time he pulls in and pushes out, except the last time. The very last time, he'll do it when he's over here in one of the corners and he won't curse the sword. That's when you're getting close to the end. That is a damage share, but it will kill and not stop killing if you don't get to some of the candles. See how much damage it did to me just then. That only really matters, though, if it does it to the person that is Tim is back. Let's get everybody a barrier. So another reason that the cleric is or the paladin is a superior healer in this part is because clerics and warlocks heal reactionary. You know, like the damage has already been done and they get to heal it. The paladins, you know, you get overhealing basically, which is your shield, and that makes a big difference. Because the red balls can one-shot people, and once you start dying in here, it gets worse because you can't, your defense lowers, and so then the balls kill you even more. So it's kind of like it's kind of a slippery slope kind of thing. I got taken again. So again, when you get taken, just stay away. You can sit there and fight them if you want to, but one will disappear every time a DPS, every time they kill one downstairs. As you see, there's only one left. Best to just stay away. Oh, what a great place to spawn. Did you see that? Wow, I've died twice now. That's part of the res stacks there. Kind of got cheated on that one death. I hit about 4 red bombs. Alright, he's doing the end part right now. So if the sword is charged up enough, somehow I fell out of the orb, this will protect you from the final attack. If it is not charged up enough, then everyone will die. And it was charged up enough, so we won basically. So now you still want to fight in the corner on the side here, but now he's not going to do any more of those other stages anymore. That's just it basically. He's going to keep dropping these bombs on us, but it's just a fight now. No more people getting taken and all that other stuff. It's basically over now. Like I said, that first run, everybody got separated, and I don't know what was going on. That's it. Strahd's gone. You'll have to fight him when he's got no hit points for a couple of seconds while they finish talking. And that's it. That's Castle Ravenloft. In the chests, we'll drop some of the items sometimes that you need to restore the set of weapons that they give you at the end of Ravenloft campaign. I don't know if I mentioned, but you also have to have finished the Ravenloft campaign to unlock the Castle Ravenloft. Doesn't look like I have enough currency for a key, which is fine. See if I can get one of the items to drop. The items that drop for the weapon restoration may only drop on Strahd. They may not drop on in the boxes. And that's it. That's Castle Ravenloft.